In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Romelo Hill and how he is able to shoot the basketball. We're going to be breaking down his shooting form so that you can shoot the ball better yourself. There's a lot of things that he does in his game and in his shooting form that will help you shoot at a higher percentage. Now let's get down and let's check out how Romelo Hill shoots the basketball. Okay, so the first thing that I really want to point out is the fact that as soon as he catches that ball, he's automatically looking at that rim. That's a very important skill to have. Now, when he dips the ball, he is still looking at the rim. Now, I also want to point out, you can't see his feet in this clip. I'm going to point this out later on, but his shoulders, hips, and at least his knees are all pointing in the same direction. They're not necessarily squared towards the basket, and the reason being is you want to be able to get your shoulder and elbow in line with the rim to be able to have a straight shot. The next part of that is to be able to have the basketball at least a quarter of it over top of your upper arm or shoulder. Even though half of that ball is in front of that right eye, still about a quarter of that ball is over that upper arm or shoulder, which means that he's created the shooting triangle that I always talk about that will give you a straight shot. Really quickly, if you want me to break down your shooting form, make sure to go check out the link that is down in the description below. We can see that he does have a little bit of gap. We can see that because there's a shadow, but generally speaking, a lot of trainers and coaches would say that he is palming the ball because this side of his hand and this side of his hand are touching the ball. Generally speaking, if you have your palm on the ball, as Romelo Hill does, you are going to have a more consistent shot. However, you may not have as much control of your shot if this arm gets hit. However, it's very rare for your arm to get hit, and if it does get hit, it's a foul anyways, which means that you might as well put as much of your palm on the ball as you can, which will give you a more accurate shot, even though that is against everything that older school basketball coaches will ever teach you. He shoots from his right eye, but he has a high release. He also has a straight, soft release, as we can see right here, and he has zero thumb flick. Some shooters will shoot with a thumb flick. Kyrie Irving as well as Steph Curry are known for it. However, they have reasons for it, and I've broken those reasons down in other videos on my other channels. But this soft release is very important. A hard release where the wrist bends and the hand is straight, that is more like Michael Jordan. You'll get a flatter shot, but you will get a heck of a lot more backwards rotation on that ball. However, with a soft release, you'll get more arc, and you can usually get just as much rotation, maybe just a bit less. After he shoots, he drops his arm pretty quickly, but he holds that release until he lands on the ground. If you're pulling back your release before you land, that means that you're probably going to have a pretty inaccurate shot. But by keeping it up until at least you land, you're going to have a pretty well straight shot. He's also following the ball with his eyes. If you can see his eyes, they were following that shot. We can see that he's also getting ready for that shot. Now, keep in mind this is practice. This is not a game, but you want to practice like a game. He's getting low, getting ready. He's loading his hips so that he's already down into his shot. This is a massive secret. If you are looking to be able to shoot the ball better, even though he catches that ball high, and then he dips the ball down, he's already dipped. He's already loaded his lower back. He's already loaded his legs so that his shot is able to go off much faster. Also, when he releases this shot, so we'll go back to the other shot because it's a little bit more clear. After he releases right here, his elbow is above his forehead. This is going to give him better arc on his shot. If your arm release is too low, you're going to have lesser arc on your shot, which means that the rim looks smaller to the ball. If your arm is too high, then that ball is going to have too much loft. It could hit a ceiling of a low ceiling gym, or the rim is going to look big, but if the ball hits the rim, it's probably going to bounce out due to gravity. You want to have just the perfect amount of arc, and I'm going to get into that just a bit later. Now, going to arc still, we can see from this point right about there, let's call it right there, we can see that the drop on this shot is about 30 degrees. Now, this camera is a bit low, so most likely it's about right here. If we were to put this to roughly camera height, and we put this to where the ball is, roughly about there, potentially around 45-ish, 44 degrees, Now, the camera's not at the right level. Even here, we can see that the camera is not exactly at the most perfect level, but you're still getting in that 45-degree range on that drop. Now, this is actually very important. And I've mentioned this in other videos, but you generally want to be between 40 and 45 degrees on that drop. The reason being is because when that ball hits the rim, you want it to bounce in. If the ball is coming in at too high of an arc, that rim looks big, but the gravity gives it an extra assist to bounce out. If the ball comes down at roughly 45-ish degrees, that rim still looks big, but if the ball hits the rim, there's not as much gravity as if the ball was just dropping perfectly like this, which means that there's a higher chance of it bouncing in. Now, if we actually zoom into this shot right here, we can see that everything is pretty well in line, which is perfect. That's exactly what you want to see. Now, when he's going into his shot, well, we can also see too, he's wearing Grinches, which is kind of cool. I have a pair of those, but we can see that it's kind of interesting because he's putting a lot of weight on that left foot. We can see that he's really left leg dominant in his shot. Now, is that going to mess up his shot? Potentially, like, you're going to see the shot potentially go left more times than not. We can see that right here. But anytime that your body is tilted more towards that left side, it's generally going to push your shot left. You want to just tip your shoulders forward more, not to the side. This is something that you can only catch really on video. I hope that this video has helped you. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe. Make sure to go check out my shooting workout that is down in the description below, or if you want me to break down your shooting form, check that out down below as well. I'll definitely be able to help you out with how you shoot the ball. I hope that this video has helped you. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again in my next video.